All right, fantabulous. Has this been an incredibly good week or what? Just absolutely amazing. So, having said that, let's just get right to it. I'm kind of duded up a little bit today. I am going to go to a little thing and yeah, there was a real potential for some like just heavy energy, heavy stuff, just heavy. It's heavy, man. Gonna move this over a little bit. I hope everyone had a great week. Wow, today is the 24th. What was the 17th? All right, that was a Saturday, and I do this every Saturday, right? So at 7:51 p.m. on May 17th, the only true limit of the human mind is the time remaining before it dies. Don't confuse. All right, so I don't know if I cotton to that quote for saying it's the mind. I would say the brain. The brain dies. The mind and the essence of self does not. So that credit goes to a gentleman by the name of David Nice. I wasn't questioning about maybe tagging what lives and what doesn't. At that time, I was questioning time. And I guess this is kind of factual because the mind is not the spirit. The mind will, in the eyes of our reality, in this place we call Earth, will cease to be able to. And it's not the mind. The mind doesn't cease to function, but the brain does. So maybe we can kind of switch out the word mind when I recorded this or dictated this. Maybe I'm going to switch out the word mind for the brain when it's appropriate because I think they're two different things. Because you're talking about the physical biome as opposed to the mind, which is connected to the subconscious and the conscious, and yeah, it's very complex, right? Okay, so this place we call Earth, it will cease to be able to function. But what is death? Right? Is the mind or the brain, is the brain subject to that thing, right? I guess there are two questions. So what is death and what is the mind? And I feel like the mind and the brain are different. The biological aspect. Is the mind only the biological functioning, or is the mind something different? Is the mind something outside of the spirit? The only other thing that brings us to a question is what is time? And I know some cultures and some belief systems don't say that there is anything as time, but it is a part of this reality, right? And it does affect us. Some would say time doesn't exist, but we are all looking at our watches and our clocks and saying we need to be at this place or at that place at this time or that, without regard to what is that thing that we're making ourselves subject. So we're making ourselves subject to this concept of time. So I will be meeting some people later today, later as opposed to sooner. And it's kind of like you feel like this is going to be a good thing, this is going to be an up thing, this is going to be a positive thing. And bringing that into my reality is the now. That's what that gathering for me is. It is a something that's very positive. So that was up on that. The only other thing that's come up is, just not being roped into this idea of not just the concept of time, which I'm going to start doing that in my next series of readings, is that, there is this thing of past, which is, it's not an illusion, but it is in part of us, right? And we take that thing that has occurred and we bring it into our memory, into the present. And so we are making plans and with expectations or however you want to look at it, we're kind of making plans for the future, and we're bringing that future concept into our now. So that's kind of how I'm going to try and structure most of the readings when it's appropriate, and say, well, what was this energy that we have now? That we have this now, but it is as a result of a previous experience, something that's happened in this thing we call the past. And then where we are now with this thing, whatever it is, whether it's a relationship or career or money or whatever. And then we're going to look at, as far as what is this how is this for our highest good? What is this thing that we can see to manifest? And that's a whole thing. Not what will happen, but what will we like to see happen? And if we are consistent with this past experience, where we're at now with that previous energy, looking forward to what energy we want to have, what we want to manifest, and bringing that into our present. And it feels like it's going to expand us. It's going to make us a little bit more powerful, if that makes sense. So everything else has been for the previous coffee, tea, and wine. So I've had a lot of coffee. I haven't had any tea today. And I'm avoiding that wine with the H. But it is one of those things about two, is being honest with where we are, our perspectives, our ideas. Okay, so something's being brought into my mind that talking to a few people probably in the last 1 to 2 weeks, is when I've said things to people that is outside their belief system, their construct and paradigm. They don't analyze that or say, well, that's an interesting perspective. They'll just say, well, you're wrong, and I don't care what you say, you're wrong, because it is this way. And there will be nothing to back that up other than an immediate experience based on a narrative and a predictive programming. I'm not going to get any details because, just because. Don't even have to explain that. The other thing, too, is we need to be able to speak our mind. And if you are offended by what someone says, that's on you, not on them. We have no right to degrade or speak down at someone because their opinion is different, as long as they're not hurting anyone. I'll give a really simple one. One of my kids had sent me a video. It was a little weird. It was something from TikTok, and it was really a little on the bizarre side. He thought it was hilarious, and he called it art. And I said, well, I don't think it's art, but it's definitely a good place for that individual to have a safe place where they can do a little self-expression. You know, it was just kind of weird. It wasn't, suggestive in any way. It wasn't, no foul language. So it was pretty benign in a lot of aspects. It was just a little weird. And I didn't consider it to be art, but I thought it was a good place. It's like, you know what, if this person feels like they want to say something, and, whether they're trying to be funny or not's irrelevant, it's a place for them, a safe place for them to just spend a couple of minutes and say what they would like to say, parody, whatever they want to parody. That's great. My son did not. He says, no judge. He says, well, I don't judge, blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, no judgment here either. It's a great place for this guy to, express himself. Right? And I mean, even if there were a lot of colorful words and vernacular, and if it was suggestive, and just don't watch it. If it's offensive to you, it's on you. It's on me. If it offends me, click. Moving on. I don't have to watch anything that I see as entertainment that I don't, click. That's on me. If it's not fitting where I want to be or maybe what I want to learn, if it makes me uncomfortable, I'm going to ask myself why. And that's important too. Making sure that we are asking ourselves why it makes me uncomfortable. And then is there any nugget of goodness in that discomfort? What's it making me aware of? And that's kind of what I have to sometimes tune people out and take a step back and say, well, what was it about that? Okay, it wasn't really that they disagreed with me. It's really maybe in how they said it, and it might have made me feel bad. It's on me because maybe I offended them, which I kind of have to process and say, I shouldn't care. If it's my opinion, it's my opinion. If I'm not doing anybody harm, it's, people can say opinions are, everybody's got one, usually pretty rude comment, but that's that. So being open, being honest, being respectful is also kind of like can be a little bit of a slippery place to be because, again, if you don't like it, turn it off. Go somewhere else. So I played something that I thought was absolutely hilarious because sometimes you just need to sit in a room and curse. And there's research on cursing and swearing that says that the people that do are more honest. People that kind of do a Fred Flintstone sort of thing, they're going to probably be more willing to hide something from you. This is why it's kind of a good thing to not have a censorship as long as it's not hurting anybody again and as long as it's not disrespectful. And even sometimes it's kind of like, what does that even mean? Maybe somebody needs to earn some respect. Maybe they were disrespectful. And if they are, and they're insulting, I see where you're coming from and don't get offended by it, but you're a jackwagon. Okay, get offended by it, because maybe it'll make you think about what you're saying and why it's offensive. So maybe what this overarching idea today is that we could ask about some clarity on our ability to be honest with ourselves and what is that going to do for us in the next couple of weeks, maybe the next week. Then who knows? Who knows where it goes? Right? So I am going to switch the camera over. It is going to twitch for a hot second. I cleaned the lens off. I've got all kinds of lights just shining right down on that spot, so I'm not really, there's nothing I can do about it. So here we go. Twitchy, twitchy camera. There you go. All right. I'm going to try and get the bowl to sing for us. This will bring us up with a nice cleared area. I've had, I don't think this is still going. So let's see if we can't get a little Palo Santo going. I did have it running for a little bit. It doesn't like where I have it. I'm just going to have to get everything to put it in. There we go. There's some ember on it. Alrighty, just kind of clearing everything up. Sometimes I'll check to see what is needed as far as, or what's, this is how I kind of check to see what, something about money, something about finances. So we'll pull that. I kind of had that off to the side. And I see that one too. Okay, so it's here, and this is a maybe, and I think it's going to see maybe where we can kind of pull things through. And we're always going to have, I got to turn this a little bit, so, all right. That's kind of my thing here anyway. Let's see what we can do to kind of clear the area and get the clearest messages that we possibly can from the ether, from the original one, the original source, and the original word. Again, we might be pulling some things in from the Akash, and we'll just see what this is going to. It wasn't real loud, and I've been really kind of getting this idea of the still small voice, this quiet voice, this thing that being still is really important. For some reason, this has been coming across very strong, that finding that time to just be quiet, turning off all the technology, and just sitting with yourself. Even if, probably one of the best things to do is turn off all the Wi-Fi, turn off, unplug stuff if you're able. There is, anyway, I can get into some what people would call conspiracies. All right, what to start with. So if you are, and I've got some new followers. Thank you so much. Awesome sauce. Please do reach out if you have any questions. If there's anything that we can do to help support you in your travels and through this crazy place we're calling Earth. I've got some interviews that are going to be coming up. One with Michael Kopp. He's supposed to get back with me. Stone Hobbit is in the process of kind of organizing some things for us to be able to enjoy. It's okay. It's like there's a lot, and there's a little bit of confusion. I don't know, man. Okay, Knight of Cups. So he's not a quick mover. I don't like looking at the cards coming up. So he's not a quick mover, but he's a mover. Now in the traditional card, he's going to be coming up to a river. You know what's really cool about this? This I feel like is more of an astral thing. This is more like an etherical thing. This is more of where we're drawing in emotions, and we're supposed to be tapping into our higher self. And maybe this is why there's been all these things coming in about us improving our relationship with ourself and our relationship with the essence side of us. So to me, it's not just the essence, but it's the essentials, not in the 3D world. And I don't know if you can really pick that up in the card, but it looks like, yeah, it kind of does. You can kind of see where it's like the Milky Way, the clouds, the stars, they're kind of, it's like he's trying to scoop them up. Or they're going to be pouring in. They're not going to pour in unless we ask. So we do need that time. And, a lot of people like to say that, they like to look at the black and white and all different shades of gray. And I say, no, I say life is technicolor. So I'm not going to limit myself to shades of gray. It's technicolor. So this is what we need to kind of be a little more open about. It's going to be very mysterious. It's going to come from places that we're not really expecting. And we have our foot up, and it's going to be, I know this is the horse, but this is part of us. The horse and rider are one, and we are just kind of taking for granted that next steps. We're going to be very careful with it, so that's important. Ooh, yeah, we're on fire. This is going to be a very passionate next step, and this is why we're going to be treading carefully. It's going to be something brand new that we're not expecting as well. And that's, are we supposed to not be, we don't want to hesitate. We want to keep this motion moving. It doesn't have to move quick, but it is going to be sudden, or we're going to perceive it as sudden. So, lamentations and appreciating the bounty that we have around us, because this is the Five of Cups, and I'll show you in a sec. But look at how full color we are. This is us. We have this cup. We're tapping into, we're allowing, we're opening this part of ourself to allow the universe, if you will, not that physical part, but the essence to fill and overflow our cup. And what we're leaving behind is this emptiness, because he's even a shadow. And, it's like inaction, and that's like the divine masculine is being tapped into to take that action as well. We're releasing ourselves from bondage. But we needed this time to kind of stop. Because this is the Eight of Swords. We needed to stop, and that's one of the reasons why it might be taking us a hot second to get moving, is we couldn't see, and we still may not be able to see. It is going to come in an unexpected way, right? It's like, don't dwell on this. Because the swords were there to not cut the cords, but to make you aware of them, realizing how loose they were. And processing. This is the processing part. We're getting started. It's fairly slow. Wow. This is cool, because we are the Emperor. And the Emperor is action. And he's got his hand out, right? I gotta try and get this so you can see it. But he's got his hand out, and you can't quite see what he's reaching for, right? So that's like, put the card here. So this is what he's reaching. So it's like the Emperor is the Emperor side of ourselves is pouring in. He's pouring into this cup. He's pouring into this cup. And that's the action that we need to realize, that this is an unending, boundless, limitless access to whatever it is that we need. And it should make us feel more expansive, bigger, more fulfilled. Because right here, we're seeing some pretty empty imagery here. But this is very fulfilling. Wow, and this is gonna all lead to our victory, right? Six of Wands. And in the traditional card, he's just kind of marching or along. The horse is marching along. And what we're stepping toward is that enrichment, fulfillment aspect in our life that we thought was missing. And giving in to self is something else I just heard. Oh my goodness, talk about a new beginning. And it's the Fool. Now, does that look like a happy Fool? It's like a youthful happiness beginning. So new beginning here, right? New beginning here. Twice I'm being drawn to this, like, hurry up. I don't know. It's like, all right. Don't be impatient. Don't be impatient. Because we do get to that stage when we just want things to happen in the now. Like yesterday, I've been waiting for 30 years for X, Y, and Z, and nothing's happening. And it's like, well, look at all this bit of busy business right back here. Look at all this craziness. Look at all of this. This does take, even with this, processing these things, and with everything being so finite, I mean, not finite, but it's like there's a gazillion ways to have something happen in a good way, but there's also a lot of ways that we can have things that's going to be pretty unpleasant if we try to jump the gun. We're gonna get the that little old smackdown from the universe if we're going to try and sidestep some things that are necessary for us to manifest what we're looking for. I don't know if I believe in accidents, and maybe there's a reason for it. I don't know, because I think everybody's in such a different place at a different time, and whoa. That's just part of, what it is to be here. Alrighty. Okay. Just as this dropped out, it's going to be 5 from the middle. As I pulled my hand out, 5 from the middle. And I get to take these from the top, and 1, 2, 3, 4. That was 5 from the middle. So these are usually related to money. Could also be our relationship with energy. Money conflicts, cutting corners, and a breakthrough. So these are swords, and I don't know if anybody's struggling with, because this can be kind of a scary thing for a lot of us, but knowing and holding that energy of lack, which that is speaking, we need to not, because when we dwell upon what we do not have, that is what we will manifest. We will manifest lack. We concentrate on lack, we're going to manifest lack. We concentrate on our abundance, and that's it. It's already here. The victory is already ours. And when we tap into that energy that we are abundance and we are this victory, nothing can stop us. If you know you have enough, you are rich. Want what you have. Gratitude creates wealth. And I'm started writing just like a page, short page, handwritten, in a really cool book. It's old-fashioned handmade paper, and it's amazing that it's related to this. It's related to how we can manifest this in a practical sense, in a practical way. Overcoming obstacles, power play, wealth, career. If it's career related for you, it means that you're going to have to boss up and you're going to have to take charge, and that's the only way you're going to have that. That's the only way you're going to have that crown. That's the only way for us to be overcoming those obstacles. And it can be, it says a power play. Putting that foot down is a power play. And this is all going to be directed towards our life purpose. It's going to manifest additional wealth. And you know, again, let's seek out help, guidance, information if we need it from whomever we can trust. All right? Be secret squirrel if you have to, even if you can only trust yourself or trust your higher self. I say go for it. I say go for it. This is the divine path he's treading. Look at that. Both of these guys. Financial commitments. So this is something we've been working on for a really long time. There is a partnership, and it's a partnership with ourselves and working together. And even though you may not be in the same business as I am, even though you may not even be in the same state, time zone, or country, don't even necessarily speak the same language, the idea is that when you are working with your higher self and I am doing the same, that means we have a partnership. Because you are a reflection of me and I am a reflection of you. And we can have the exact same energy that will manifest if we can be, like I said, we can even be worlds apart and from a different dimension than others, from a different realm. When we are, this is like a real multi-dimensional coherence. Oh man, that's right up my spine. Holy cannoli. Everybody get in alignment with their higher self and get into that, tap into that, manifest mindset. Wow. And this says spiral, but this is not out of control. This is the exact opposite. This means climbing out. Spiraling up, upward trend. And you know, that's part of this process, but this leads to connections and promotion. Wow. There's something really strong coming through for us. This is something that we have been waiting. Some for maybe hours, weeks, days, months, years, and half a lifetime. This is something powerful when we concentrate on this coherence within ourselves. It's like, wow, that's the spiral. Did you see that? Wow. This is our financial relief. This is being content with where we are, but it's also about having that supportive role, supporting ourselves first, and that expands out. It presses out. It's not this soft thing. It is soft. It's very strong. It's very strong. It's like trying to compress water, right? And when we apply a supportive role, this is going to give us growth and security. And I don't like the word job, but it's got the word job in there. An important person will offer you support. It may not be who you think. And so be open to possibility. And letting go of that control is a big part of it. And that's kind of here, right? We're going to let go of the money conflicts. We're going to let go of cutting corners. And that's what's going to manifest the breakthrough. That's going to manifest the breakthrough. Anything else? Yes. Energy. Mastery. Energy, mastery. I'm also looking at some of the other decks I have around, and nothing is actually speaking to me. This is going to be the final bit here is what sacred geometry, and what I would suggest that you do is stop the recording when you see the sacred geometry. I'll stop for a split second and then I'll hold it up again after I get whatever's coming through. Ooh, that's a weird little drop. That's really different. So what is it that is going to be most helpful to us to pull from our past and make sure that it's fully integrated? This is the earth. The frequency of earth activates our deep connection to this physical plane by showing us the beauty of all the aspects of our great earth. I don't like placing gender. It says Mother Earth. I just feel it's earth. It doesn't have a gender. This earth that we're on is moving. That to me, moving is not mother. Moving is masculine. So placing mother or father this feels inappropriate at this point. So our great earth, revealing the more ethereal, spiritual aspects of our nature. So this is tying into, these are not negative. These are a part of the process. This is earthing. This is processing, earthing, and that's a big part of us. These two. Whoa. All right. Synergy. Synergy. Wow. How cool is that, right? So notice in the earth there's some sharpness that's softened. Here there's no sharpness. With synergy, it's all rounded imagery. The frequency of synergy supports our allowance and acceptance of not so obvious. The not so obvious at the time would be things like maybe, don't get stuck here in processing. This is not about rumination. It's about integration. This is not about being stuck or in a stuck state. This is realizing that some protection had to be placed around us to stop us, to spend some quiet time with ourselves. So then we could start to move into this heart-centered. So this is synergy right here. And this is bringing us here where we can allow that emperor side of self to take and pour into us as well. This is providing us a victory, a new beginning. This is like this whole going around to this whole spiral thing. So this synergy supports our allowance and acceptance of the not so obvious, never seen before combinations and unions that result in new ways of functioning, working, thinking, relating, loving, and being. It reminds us to embrace the unfamiliar so that new yet exciting co-creations can give birth to a new reality. Giving birth, the Fool. So I think what I was talking about before was about not being judgmental and accepting yourself and accepting others and leaving them alone without judgment. Doesn't mean you have to confront them. Sometimes we need to just say nothing. Sometimes if we do kind of feel like, hey, this is how I feel, just so that you're aware, that's okay. Sometimes we shouldn't do that. We just need to leave things alone, right? It's about this co-creation, and with the impact that we all have, we might encounter, well, we do. I'm sure we all encounter those negative things, those things that cause us discomfort. But that's part of this whole growth. The other thing I'm kind of hearing is that this is about, once we have this, we process this and we go, it doesn't mean we're not going to be there. This is like layered and perpetual. It's whatever you're going to encounter, you feel like you kind of have to take a quiet time, process it, think about it, open up to it, feel like you're needing a little pouring. Okay, I had something else come in. So you might be in one aspect all the way over here, but in other areas you might be here or here. You know what I mean? It's continuous all the time. We're never going to be able to let go of all things, all aspects of this, because it's an unending learning process. Realizing it as well, that would kind of be helpful, right? Realizing where we're at. Sorry, it's like a twitchy little thing and it's driving me nuts. Don't know why it does that. Really don't. But anyway, there's your realization. Let me read what that says. The frequency of realization supports the internal process of becoming aware of our heart-centered truth, as well as the external process of becoming our highest expression in this world. That is really also the perpetualness of it all. We're never going to stop being here. We're never going to stop being here. This is perpetual with different things. I don't know how else to kind of say that. Anything else? Nope. That was kind of it, man. This was so freaking awesome. Wow. Wowzers. I don't even know where to put this guy. You know? Because this kind of feels like boom. Right? It's like boom. Boom, baby, boom. There. I'm going to leave that there, but you can't really see it. It's realization. All right, everybody. Thanks so much. Have a great time today. Enjoy yourself. Do like, share, and subscribe and all that other kind of good stuff. And I will hopefully see everyone on the flip side. And take care.